Come on, admit it. Sometimes you think I'm all right.
Occasionally, maybe. When you aren't acting like a scoundrel.
Scoundrel? Scoundrel? I like the sound of that.
Hey guys, I am player 1, and there's a really intense echo in here because I'm in a different room, if you don't see. I've noticed that a lot of the lights in my room personally are very orange, kind of. I don't know, they're just not, they're more like yellow tinted other than like white lights. And I know my mom has a lot more lights in her bathroom, so I'm going to be using her bathroom for this tutorial. Today I just want to do a quick tutorial on becoming Princess Leia. I have to become Princess Leia, 2 different versions of her for Rocky Horror Picture Show. We're doing a theme night and I'm going to be Magenta / Princess Leia. So that's all I gotta say, and maybe later we'll talk more about the new Star Wars movie, and I'll show you my costumes that I used, and I'll show you how I do her look. Alright, stick around. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this concealer on to kind of just, you know, block out all the nasty that is my face. I actually kind of went like, I had some exercise going on before I did this video, so I look super gross during like all of it. So I'm using this to lighten the areas and pretty much cover most of the main highlighted spots of my face. Alright, there we go. Then next, I'm gonna use this stippling brush to stipple that all in, which means I'm pretty much rubbing it all in and blending it all out so there isn't like lots of product in lots of weird places, if that makes sense. I mean, you know, you never know in this world. You never know. Here we go. Still doing it. Still doing it.
6.5 hours later.
And I am still fucking stippling. Anyway, here I go. Am I good? Oh. Yep, alright, sweet. Next we're gonna move on. I'm just taking like a darker foundation type. Doesn't really matter what type it is. Just to start breaking the lines where I'm gonna be putting my contour, which would be like, you know, my cheekbones and stuff. This is kind of just more of a template kind of what I'm gonna use later. I'm kind of just outlining what I'm going to fill in later with a darker color. Because, like, for instance, Carrie Fisher has a pointier pointier chin than I do. So, you know, I want to just map it out with a cream product. It's a lot easier that way, just so the lines stay there when I set it with powder. If that makes sense. I'm also going to do my nose, because my nose is giant. Alright, so right now, I'm actually just pointing out that I'm also darkening around my hairline because I want people to believe that's my realistic hairline, if, you know, that makes any sense. I mean, we know it's not, but you still want to make it look a little more realistic. And then I'm going in with another light shade, like my first concealer, just to make sure the highlighted parts are still very much highlighted. Yep, there it is. Boom. Alrighty, moving on. I'm taking a bunch of white powder. It's considered translucent powder because it doesn't add any color, but it does kind of take away some color because it, you know, soaks up all the oils. You can tell by watching this video that I am putting on way too fucking much. If you've ever heard of the term baking, it's kind of where you leave it on for a very, very long period of time and it kind of just like helps mattify everything. I'm actually doing that with my entire face and my eyelids to make sure all the excess oil from my eyelids and stuff gets soaked up. I'm also going to be using this on the hairline, the fake hairline, just so my makeup doesn't sweat or anything, and how awkward that would be. Alright, next I'm going to be putting a brown eyeliner on the bottom of my eyes on both of them. And then I'm going to be putting brown eyeliner also on the top of both of my eyes, as Princess Leia does have, if you notice in reference pictures. She has them both mostly on the bottom. Next, after that, when they're both all lined and such, I'm going to be taking a brown eyeshadow and putting it kind of in my crease. If you look at her pictures, she's not really wearing a bunch of eyeshadow, but there's a slight, you know, coloration of just brown eyeshadow. What I do, because my eyes are actually really, really fucking tiny and Carrie Fisher's are actually bigger than mine, I actually take that brown eyeshadow and put it all the way up to my eyebrow, which is not in any pictures, but I did it just so my eyes didn't look super close off. Then I'm going to be taking this white eyeliner and putting it in the waterline of both my eyes, just like hers. She has a lot on, and it's very, very obvious in pictures. Alright, after that, I'm going to be doing my eyebrows. My eyebrows are very kind of full and obnoxious, and hers are very sparse. So, because of that reasoning, I decided, kind of like right now, at this moment in time, yep, here I am deciding that I'm going to put some concealer kind of over top of the very, very top of them to make it look like more of there's some, like, extra hairs I didn't pluck come through that concealer, so it doesn't look like my eyebrows are actually that thick. I'm going to rub that in a little bit, just make it look a little less crazy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to fill in very, kind of very harshly where hers are mostly colored in, because they are sparse, which would be right in the beginning of the eyebrows and right at, like, the tail of the eyebrows. And you can see that I'm doing that, like, right about now. There I am, filling in the tail. So there's that kind of middle part that's kind of sparse still. But just to make sure everything fits together, I'm going to be using this brow gel to kind of, put them all together. There I am, looking fine as hell. Next, I'm going to be wiping off all that excess powder. I am wiping off all the excess powder from earlier that I left on my face. And next, I'm going to be taking a kind of dark bronzing shade to kind of put it where that hairline is. Wow, hairline. Count how many times it's been said. To make it look like that is the actual end of my forehead. I have a much bigger forehead than Carrie Fisher also, apparently. So I had to move that down a tad. And then I'm going to be, like, kind of darkening just pretty much around the entire hairline, to be honest. Kind of, like, up to forehead and stuff. Next, I'm going to be taking this contouring blush shade, which is it's kind of pink, but it is more for, obviously, contouring. So I'm going to be putting that mostly on my jawline. It's going to come out very pink, but at the end we're going to blend it. Pretty much to make my jaw look a little bit more like hers. She has a lot of, she's got like a pointier chin, as I said earlier, and not very full cheeks like I do. My head's more of an oval. But I'm going to be taking this brown bronzer shade just to fill in my cheekbones. And then after that, Carrie Fisher's, in the pictures, she actually has this really bright, like, line of pink blush right above it, and it's very obvious that they're distinct and that no one blended them in. So I actually put the blush on very, very heavily, but I'm going to blend it out in 2 seconds just so it's not that bright, because the color is quite light, but it is definitely there. Next, I'm just doing my nose. I'm just contouring it. She has a very skinny nose. My nose is very brick looking to me. I don't know. It bothers me a lot, especially when I'm doing costumes, because it just looks weird. But I'm actually going to be taking those contouring lines and, like, blending them in with this powder puff, just so they don't look like I have 2 weird lines on my face. There I am checking it out. And my lips are gross. So I'm like, oh, might as well put some lipstick on. The color I'm using, it is an e.l.f. lipstick. It was like one of their moisturizing lipsticks, and it's very orangey red, which is kind of what she wears. But when I was putting it on, I realized that it was, like, really, really dark. So I took a sponge, which would be saying in, like, 0.2 seconds. I'm, like, looking around like, oh shit, this is weird. Took a sponge and blended it out to give it a more realistic look to it. Not so, orangey colored. Then I'm just going to put some layers of mascara on. She's not wearing falsies in any of the pictures. She's not really wearing any eyeshadow. Like I said, I put a little bit more on just so my eyes don't look so closed off. She's also not wearing any on the bottom. So here I am, happy, happy, happy as Princess Leia. Alright, next up is costumes. Okay, my costume was made by Secret Wishes or whatever. They have, like, a Star Wars collection. I got kind of this sluttier version. Oh, sneak peek! Of Princess Leia. Here it is, kind of top to bottom. It's not fully screen accurate, but it's pretty obvious who I am. As you can see, the belt is very shit, and I kind of wish I would have had time to get a better one. It's very flimsy. It doesn't really fit if you're skinny either, because the Velcro is so far apart. I don't know, it was, like, sagging too much. I ended up getting it to lay perfectly at the end, but it was pain. Also, the sleeves still have their, like, longness to them, and they move around, they flow, which is super great. But, biggest complaint, there's no fucking hood. Ugh, I love the hood, it just adds so much to it, but you can see the zipper. You can also see my bra. Here's the slit, which gives you the sluttier version of Leia, because there's a giant slip, which, if you know, it's not screen accurate at all. Also, it's very see-through. Throughout the night, I got really, really hot and really sweaty, but it's see-through. It was like really heavy material, but see-through material. I just put a huge tank top on, a long tank top on, just to cover my butt, and white spandex, just, you know, extra coverage. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed me becoming Leia and having my little Chewbacca. I will see you guys next time. Thanks.
I love you.